Tonight on Newsnight, we look at the cabinet directive banning media houses from covering defiance campaigns, be they live, be they recorded. What does this mean? And joining me to discuss this is the Deputy Attorney General, the Honorable Mwesigwa Rukutana. Good evening, Honorable. Thank you for joining me.
Good evening, Joel. Good evening, viewers.
Uganda is a signatory to many statutes that are adumbrating human rights, press freedom, and just the other day we were celebrating World Press Freedom Day.
Yes.
This is being viewed by many as gagging the media, stifling press freedom.
First of all, it's not correct that this is just a cabinet directive. It's an order of court. What cabinet is saying is that parties should adhere to the order of court. Secondly, we are not in any way gagging the media. On the contrary, you know, our media is one of the most freest media we have in Africa and even globally. But everybody is subject to decisions of our court. As you know, notwithstanding the several treaties and conventions we have signed, Uganda is a sovereign country governed by its constitution. So what we are doing is within the mandates stipulated in our constitution, in our laws, in our rules of practice.
Let's try and break this down. What is so illegal, what is so wrong about, for example, we in the media covering this?
You see, the constitution of Uganda is very clear. All the power belongs to the people, and the people have the right to exercise the power within the law, within the constitutional limits and within the law. The people are supposed to determine who leads them through regular, free and fair elections. We held elections, notwithstanding the few irregularities that were mentioned. The Electoral Commission, which is mandated to determine who the winner was, came up with the winner. They said Yoweri Kaguta Museveni won the elections and made a declaration.
I'm sure, Honorable, you don't mean the words you said. When you said the Electoral Commission is mandated to determine the winner, it came up with the winner.
Yes.
I thought Ugandans do determine, but anyway, just the man.
No, the winner, the Ugandans voted, and the Electoral Commission counted the votes and came up with the winner.
All right.
They are not the ones who determined. So, after that, some people were dissatisfied. They went to court. The court listened to evidence from those who were disappointed and came up with a verdict. And they found that it was true that Yoweri Kaguta Museveni won the elections. And that is the position that every Ugandan should respect. Now, if you say, notwithstanding the court pronouncement, the court verdict, I am defying, then you are acting outside the constitution of the Republic of Uganda.
Where in the constitution is it adumbrated that it is wrong to defy the status quo if you feel, wait a minute, my rights are being infringed on? By the way, even if I imagine it is within the statutes of the law. Yeah. Apartheid in South Africa was legal, but there are people that defied it. Slave trade in the Western world was legal, but there are people that defied it, and eventually it was struck off their law books. So what is so wrong about defying something that a citizen feels this is not right, especially if it's not within the law? But even if it were to be within the law, if I feel it infringes on my rights, what's wrong with defying it?
Our constitution and our laws set up mechanisms where if you are dissatisfied with anything, you have to seek resort from. And you can only seek resort from courts of law. For example, we are government, we are in power. We could have said, look, these things are doing something illegal, we shall just crush them. But we didn't say that. It's we who went to court. We have the state machinery, we have the police, we have everything. We could have said, no, these people are not acting legally, let's crush them. But we went to court for the court to interpret the intended actions, the so-called defiance campaign. Now, you can't compare the situation of Uganda, the so-called defiance, with what was happening. What was happening in South Africa was really a set of bad laws which were against human rights.
All right, let's stick with Uganda as an example. In 1980, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ran for election. He lost the election and he said, look, this was not right. There were irregularities. He did not go to courts of law. He went to the bush, and 5 years later, he became president. Kizza Besigye participated in this election, and according to him, he feels there were irregularities that cost him the election. He should not have lost. According to him, he should have won the election, and he's saying, I am protesting this. I will hit the streets and demonstrate. That's enshrined within our laws. Somebody can demonstrate. So what is so wrong with the demonstration?
At that time, I believe if Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was defying the establishment then within Kampala, he would have been subjected.
He defied it with guns, by the way.
Well,
by going to the bush.
Because there was good reason for him to defy. But
Besigye feels he has a good reason.
Yes, he has a good reason.
Whether it's good to you or not, according to him, it's good.
Now, that now is the crux of the matter. We are saying that he doesn't have a good reason. And we as government have gone to court, which is mandated to tell us whether, according to our constitution and according to our laws, what he's doing is constitutional. You see, what has happened is, having engaged in the so-called defiance campaign, we said, okay, the laws are there. Article 29 of the Constitution grants freedoms to demonstrate. But then there is Article 43, which gives the limitations to what extent a person can go to enjoy the freedoms granted under Article 29. So we thought that it was prudent for us, rather than using state machinery to cramp on the activities of Besigye, we thought it was prudent to go to court and seek an interpretation of the Constitutional Court for the court to decide whether what he's doing is lawful or not. Now, when we went to court, and this is the point I want Ugandans to appreciate, when we went to court, the court looked at our case and said, okay, we shall give an interpretation, having had all the parties, but in the meantime, pending the hearing of the case to decide it on its merits, let all these activities, which you as government are apprehensive of, let there not be demonstrations, let the defiance campaign stop, let nobody publicize it, let nobody engage in demonstrations until we have looked at your concerns and came up with a verdict.
Honorable, does it not sound unfair that as a government you say to a citizenry you have no right to complain if you feel aggrieved in any way? We are not even going to allow the media to probably put this out for you, because you see, it's one thing to be in government, but then again, you're leading these people. They will disagree with you, and I think it should be okay that they disagree with you, but in essence what you're saying, we are not allowing you to disagree with that.
You see,
and by the way, it's actually possible that you are correct as government. But you see, there are people who don't think you are correct, and you're in essence telling them you are not allowed to disagree with us.
Thank you
That's
so
not
much.
fair.
You see, we as government are saying you are not correct to disagree. They are saying we are right, we are enjoying our rights enshrined in the Constitution. Now, given that dispute, that disagreement, that's why we thought it was prudent for us to go to court so that the court interprets the situation. Are we right as government, or are we wrong? Are they right, or are they wrong? So that is exactly what is pending before the court of law. But you see, we came up with a number of things which we feared would destabilize the peace and security of the country, would destabilize order. And we said, in the meantime, before you decide, it is our view that these activities should stop until you have determined whether they are right or not.
All right, my time is fast spent, but let's wind up with this, Honorable. What has given rise to all this defiance campaign, and now we in the media being stopped from covering it, whether live or recorded, is the election as it did happen. Kizza Besigye and folks around him feel there should be an internal audit. They feel there were issues, even though the EC and later on the Supreme Court did legitimize the win. They're saying if you are right, and if everything went smoothly, let's have an internal audit and have your results looked at. They say they have their own results and so on. So the whole process is audited and everybody is happy at the end of the day. Why is government opposed to that?
You see, a person who is not satisfied with a court, an election verdict by the Electoral Commission has recourse to court. He has options to do things which are provided for under the law. He can go to court, as indeed Mbabazi did, for the court to determine. The so-called international audit being sought for in the demonstrations which are intended is not provided for anywhere in our laws.
Well, it was not provided for that the president runs for more than 2 terms.
And by the way,
we created it within the law, didn't we? So this can be created
that's
for.
one of the issues pending before the court. We want the court to guide us to say whether or not the audit being asked for is constitutional. You get that? So, if we allow demonstration to go ahead, if we allow people to publicize what is this, then we are preempting the decision of the court. So the court said, in order not to preempt our decision, in order not to bias us, let all the activities be stopped until we have heard the case on its merits.
Honorable Mwesigwa Rukutana, thanks for talking to us on Newsnight.
Thank you so much.
And that was Newsnight.